We're going to start recording, so just everyone is aware. You can take off the video of your screen if you choose so. And it also means that the names will be displayed publicly here in the people that are attending and in the recording. So just it's important for us to know that, since it, for us, not only in our products, but if in our day-to-day, is important to talk about privacy and everything that has to do with this. A couple of other important things to consider. Everybody will be muted, so the presentation flows a little bit faster. However, if you have any question at any given time, please, you have the chat over there in the top. For the people who are not familiar with Teams, in the top bar, you will see a little bubble that says chat. You can click there, ask your question, and we have our experts here ready to answer while we're talking, not a problem. So we can answer everyone's questions at any given time. However, we know the most as frequently asked questions are, what about prices? What about contact information? Don't worry. At the end, Sunday will provide everything that has to do with those two specific topics. So that part is going to be covered. So you don't have to worry about that until the end. We can focus in the presentation in itself. So yeah, we can start. For the people that are just joining us for the first time, thank you very much. We are CCI Learning, a Canadian company. We have more than 33 years developing courseware in the digital and non-digital formats. And now we have presence in more than 25 countries around the world with very important names as customers, mostly in the academic world. Thank you very much. And among the products that we develop, our flagship is Jasperactive, which has very different versions. We have Jasperactive, just so everybody knows, there's Jasperactive for Microsoft Office. There's one for the Adobe world, which we're releasing soon. So stay tuned for that one as well. And what we're seeing today is Jasperactive for Digital Literacy IC3. And I was thinking, well, maybe it's important for the people that don't know much about IC3 and the exams and the objectives. It will be good to have that as a frame of reference. So I would like to start with that, not before just sharing a little bit of the agenda. It's going to be very concise today. We don't want to take too much of the time. After the introductions and explain a little bit what are we going to do, I'm going to pass the microphone to our courseware manager, Heather Daniel, and she's going to show you the product, which is Jasperactive Digital Literacy for GS6. But as I was mentioning, who's IC3, right? Why do we align our product to the objectives of the exam for IC3? Well, IC3 is the Internet Core Competency Certification, which is created by the Global Digital Literacy Council. This council is compiled by more than 400 members in 75 different countries. They all bring their field of expertise and said what is important to know in the digital world today. And one of the changes they recently done, which is moving from IC3.5 to version 6, they thought it was very important to expand the knowledge from 3 different core subjects to 7 different digital domains, which they call now. So the first change that you will see is it comes from IC3 themselves, from the Global Digital Literacy Council, saying, listen, we're going to move now to 3 different levels that Heather is going to explain how we align to that. And within those 3, level 1, level 2, and level 3, there's these 7 digital domains that you can see here on the screen of the information that it compiles on the body of knowledge. So it is very important to always have in mind when we develop any of our products, any of our Jasperactives, and now specifically digital literacy, we do it with 2 goals in mind. The first one is to align the objectives of the exam itself. If we're talking about Microsoft Office, we're aligned to the objectives that Microsoft the signs for the exam. Now, the Council for Digital Literacy defines the objectives for the IC3 exam. So Jasperactive, it's aligned to those objectives, which means goal number 2 is how can we compile all these body of knowledge that is very, in some cases, abstract from different areas and in completely different environments, right? From learning what is a computer to a server to the network, how to behave online, etc. So we try to compile all that information into one source so it's easy to digest for the user and it's easy to teach for the instructor. And that's what we try to do here with Jasperactive GS6. So what we'd like to say is we would like you to feel the Jasperactive experience. It's not about just learning, it's about having a great experience by doing so. It has to be fun, has to be interactive, has to be easier for the teacher. Otherwise, it's not only the benefit for the student, but also for the instructor as well, right? So you will see with Heather's explanation, we try to figure out how do people like to learn. Some people like to learn by reading, so we have the ebook. Some people prefer concise information, so quick decks are very concise and easy to digest, so you can learn faster. Some people like videos, so we compile all those formats of providing the information and put it together in the same platform, which makes it very interactive, makes it fun, makes it interesting to play around. Heather is going to give us a visual of how does this feel in the environment. But basically, that's from the learner perspective. All this body of knowledge it becomes fun and easier to learn than other sources. But from the teacher perspective or the instructor's perspective, it's not only teacher friendly, but also it will save you a lot of prep time. And it will save you, and I know you love to hear this, a lot of grading time. And it will also help you if you have different students with different speeds and different levels of learning. Jasperactive will help you to balance that in order to have a more coordinated learning experience from the students. But I don't want to take too much of the time. I would rather have the expert show you the product and show you what exactly I mean by this. So here's Heather with a live demo of Jasperactive Digital Literacy.
Thank you. And let's go ahead and start looking at all of these different resources and tools that Raul was going over inside of the digital literacy. So first of all, just to reiterate what Raul was saying about the digital literacy, our course has been developed around all of the global standards for GS6. And we go along with those standards with level 1, level 2, and level 3. So once you log into the Jasperactive experience, you're able to get each of the levels. Your students are able to work through each of those levels. And even you as an instructor, you can do that as well. So you can go from the fundamental concepts to really looking at the application and then even going into the advanced understanding. Inside of each of the courses, you start out with the course exercises. And inside of the course exercises, this is going to give you that benchmark. And essentially what the benchmark does is going to assess the learner's current level, knowledge level. So the students are able to see what they know, and as well as you can see what they know. And then they can go into lessons. So inside of each of the lessons, there are 2 study projects per lesson. This is to help the learner get introduced and then even reinforce those concepts. The next thing that they have inside of the exercises is the study materials. And so while you are inside of the study project, you are able to see all of the study materials and able to access them throughout. And then finally, For an assessment after the study project, you get a case study. And the nice thing about this is the questions are aligned to feel like the actual certification. So you're able to start practicing with that. But you also are able to get questions. When you get the questions, you actually get 2 attempts. So if you get the question wrong, then it's going to tell you it's wrong and then why it's wrong. And then you can go back and do some remediation by looking at the study materials and then going back and trying the question again. So during the case study, you can return to that project at any time. And if you do get a question wrong, it actually prompts you to go to that media library and get remediation or, access remediation. So let's go ahead and take a look at the course. So you can enter and get to the Jasperactive courseware either through Geometrics or through the Jasperactive app site. So it really depends on how you and your students work with that course. So however you put it into the classroom, you can access it either way. Now, as an instructor, you will actually go through and get additional resources by going to app.jasperactive.com. And that's where I'm at. And so that's where I'm going to show you. When you go and you sign in here, you will automatically come to your institution page. And when you're there, you're going to see all of the groups that you have created or you're assigned to. From here, you can also create a group or even join a group. I'm going to go ahead and select one of the groups that I've already created and have been working with. Once I log into the group, it's going to show me each of the courses that I have assigned to that group. So once I create the group, I can assign multiple courses to that group, and the students are able to work through that material. Once I am in here, I will see each of the courses, and like I was talking about before, there's level 1, level 2, level 3. Those are the parts of the digital literacy. Inside of here, I can select each of the courses to be able to go into them. But also, I want to point out one of the setting features that are available for each of the courses. So inside of the course card, if I go to the bottom where it says settings, I can select that, and it allows me to actually set the assessment settings. So you can see for assessment, I have the benchmark. That's that knowledge check that helps students really see what they already know. And then I have the summary assessment. Well, for each of these, for the benchmark, I have 101 questions that are available. And then the summary assessment, I have 70 questions. Well, as an instructor, I don't always want to serve up 101 questions. So this allows me to really hone in on how much time am I giving my students for assessment, so I can change that. And then also, how many questions do I want to give my students per lesson? So this will really help me get that timing down and how many questions that I want to give my students. So you have that available for each of the levels. Now let's go ahead and start looking at the level 1. All right, so once I go into the level 1, and the first thing I'm going to see is the exercises tab. So these are the materials that I have already been reviewing with you. So the first one is the benchmark. So students are able to go in and complete the benchmark. But the other nice thing is, as an instructor, you can complete the benchmark as well. So if you want to see what you know, as well as what the students are going to be experiencing, you are able to go in there and select that. And then you have each of the lessons. And if you see, each of the lessons are broken down by the 7 domains. So Raul went through each of the 7 domains and what that looks like. And our course has been structured around each of those domains. Each lesson is then broken up into 2 study projects. So I can go ahead and select one of the study projects. Once I go in, I can go ahead and start that study project. Now you will see inside of the study project, I am able to start looking at what am I going to learn in this study project, but also I can look at the key elements. So this is going to go through each of those key topics or key elements that I'm going to be learning throughout this study project. Once I scroll down, I see each of the key elements right at the top, and it's very easy to navigate through each of these topics. Once I select the topic that I want to review, I can see that the media library for this topic opens up on the left-hand side. So I'm able to quickly and easily navigate through the ebook, the quick deck, and the quick clips. Once I have gone through each of these key elements, I am able to scroll down to the bottom and continue to the case study. Now, remember, the case study is going to ask me questions, and I am able to go through and answer each of those questions. Once I answer the question, I can check my answers. If I answer it correctly, I get a good, and it tells me why the answer was correct. I can keep going through, and then once I answer a question, if it answers incorrectly, it's going to tell me why it's incorrect. Then I can go and I can try again, but also it prompts me that I can go to the media library and remediate right at that time. Now, the nice thing that you will see is when I select remediate, it actually opens this up in a new tab. So I am able to toggle back and forth between the two, or if I want to see them side by side, I am able to do that as well. Once I have selected that, I can go ahead and try again. And then I can check my answers after I try again. Now, through here, you can see that I can save the progress in here, or I can show the project. So if I am going through this case study and I realize I really was not ready to start completing this, I can quickly and easily go back to showing the project, and it takes me back and I am able to start reviewing the key elements with each of the media library resources available to me. So remember, inside of the course exercises, you get that benchmark, the lessons, the study materials, and then that case study project. Now, let's look at the study materials a little bit more. Now, these study materials are available during any time during the course. So as you saw, I could go back and I could access those study materials. The other nice thing is that all study materials include the built-in immersive reader. If you have students that are ESL, so if English is their second language, they can go in and they are able to use the immersive reader. If you have learners at different reading levels, this really helps them to be able to use that immersive reader, or even the visually impaired. So they have those options, and it's built in. Remember, I showed you an overview of the resources, but I want you to understand that inside of the resources, you do have the ebook, and the ebook is a digital textbook. So this really covers all of the objectives and the topics inside of each lesson. And then you have the quick decks, and the quick decks are really, if you think about them, like flashcards. And so these flashcards are going to give a quick description and just go over some of the lesson topics. And then finally, you have quick clips. And these are short videos, and they are really focusing on important concepts, and then even features in step-by-steps that you get a video for. So let's go ahead and take another look at the study materials and how you can access them. So right now I'm in my study project. I'm just going to go back into my course. And so once I'm in my course, remember that first tab is the exercises. The next tab is study materials. So I can access them directly from that study materials tab. And this time they are organized by study material, meaning the ebook comes first, and I can see each of my lessons available to me right there with the 7 domains. Then I have my quick decks and then also my quick clips. So remember, your ebook is that online textbook. I am able to go in and start navigating through the book and reading all of the material that is in there. But also remember, the immersive reader is available. So I can select immersive reader at any time. This allows it to be read aloud to me. I can also adjust it. So if I'm visually impaired, I can adjust it, or I can use the translation feature if English is not my first language. So very quickly and easily, I can just move through each of the lessons, through the ebooks, through the quick decks, and then also through the quick clips. So I can utilize each of these study materials at any time. I don't need to just be working on a study project inside of an exercise. All right, so next thing is Gradebook, and this is always important for instructors and learners alike. So there's 2 parts to the Gradebook. The first one is for the instructors, and to access the instructor Gradebook, we're going to do that from the group page. And inside of the instructor Gradebook, you can view by the course. You can view all learners at one time, or if you want to really hone in on just one learner, you can do that as well. The other nice thing is you can export this to Excel. So then it's really quick and easy to filter and then take that information and put it into your learning management system or your SIS to be able to put those grades in there. You also have progress, and it shows you progress for the benchmark, the lessons, and the summary assessment. As well as the instructors, inside of each of the courses, learners can access their own gradebook. So they are able to see their progress inside of a lesson as well as their grade. So let's take a look at that. So if you remember, I said in order to get to the instructor materials or the instructor gradebook, I want to be at the course level or the group level, excuse me. So once I select on the group level, and I know that I'm in my group, I'm going to refresh real quick. Okay, so I know I'm in my group level because I can see my group name at the top. I can see my group key, all of those things. I can see my courses, all of my courses are available. At the top, I have the courses tab. That's the default tab that opens up, as well as I have my group members. So I'm able to see all of the group members in there. But the next tab is my gradebook. So this is where I can go in and I can select my course that I want to see the grades on. I can select if I want to see all learners or if I really want to look at one learner. And then once I go into that, I can see how far the learner has gone, the progress of the learner, and their grading inside of there as well. Now you can see this particular learner needs to do a little bit more work, but this is where you access that gradebook. So that's for the instructor, but also as a student or a learner, you can go into the actual course. So I have selected back into the level 1 fundamentals course, and learners, as well as if you're completing the course yourself, you can go right into the gradebook, and it will show you the progress as well as your score for each of the benchmark, the summary assessment, and then each of your lessons. So it's quick and easy to be able to review your progress. All right, next section is everybody wants to know what resources are they going to get inside of the courseware. So in here, the instructor resources that we are going to be going over and that you receive is course mapping, the course resources. You get additional components, and this goes into timing as well, very important. You get a syllabus as well as that all-important glossary of terms. So inside of each of the courses or levels, you get the first, which is course mapping. So it is going to show you each of the exam objectives. So they are all listed out, as well as the lesson that goes over those course objectives, or the lesson of exam objectives, excuse me. So if you have a student that has tested, or maybe they're doing a practice certification, and they identify, hey, I'm having a hard time with identifying input devices, then you can simply go into the looking at the mapping, and you can say, okay, well, that's lesson 1. So this gives you the exam objective mapping for the course. The next resource that you're getting is the course resource elements. So this really goes through all of those pieces that I was just talking about, but you have it and you're able to go in and review. So I can see each of the elements that are in there, from the exercises, and it really breaks down what is in the exercises with the benchmark assessment, as well as how the study projects work, what they look like inside of there, and all of the resources and how you can utilize them, even breaking down the study materials, the gradebook, and all of those things. The next resource is the components and the lesson timing. Now, this is really helpful when you are going in and you are starting to think of look at your course and how you're going to implement it in your class. So this really goes through and it shows you each of the lessons that are coming through, the questions, how many questions for learning, how many questions for applying, as well as the hours that are needed to be able to complete that section. And then, of course, you're getting this course syllabus. Now, the course syllabus is given in a Word format. So you are able to go in and instructors can update it for course title, their name. It's really just a template for you to be able to use, put in all of your pertinent information, and then send it out to your learners right at the beginning of the course. So really quick and easy to be able to utilize this. And then, of course, the glossary of terms, which is always important. And as a former classroom teacher and someone that was getting my students certified as well, it was always important for them to really, truly understand those terms, because once they understand the terms, it makes it easier, right? As they're going through and they are in the learning process, they're in the practice process, and then into the certifications. All right, so those are instructor resources. Finally, we have answer keys, and answer keys are always important, right? So you're getting the answer keys for the benchmark, as well as the study projects, the learning exercises, and then the summary assessment as well. So let's take a quick look at these keys. So inside of the benchmark, you can see that you get each of the questions as well as what is the correct answer. The other nice thing is it gives you the reference key. So if you know that you want to pinpoint on which module or lesson that this is coming from, it takes you right there so you know what to reference. And then the same thing with the summary assessment. You're getting the question and the answer, and then as well as where to go to find additional resources. And then for each of the lessons, you are getting the question. So it gives you the question, it gives you the correct answer, but the other thing is it gives you why that is the correct answer. So sometimes that's why we need to understand why that is the correct answer. And then also it gives you that reference material. So instructors are able to utilize this to have, additional resources. And I know even for myself, if I had a student that liked to have things printed out, that paper copy and to help them study and remediate, this is something that I may make access or accessible to my students as well. So really, really good resources that you are able to utilize. All right, so let's look at a couple of different the features that I just went over, just so you remember and start thinking about how you can utilize this resource. So number one, 100% coverage of the IC3 Digital Literacy GS6 certification objectives. And then really looking at that level structure. So we're looking at bringing learners from that beginner level all the way to certification ready. They are able to retry lessons and levels at any time. So if students want to go back in and get a higher score, or maybe they need to review a little bit more, they can always go back and start the lesson or the level over again. These study projects include real world scenarios, and we all know that that is important for students to be able to connect what they're learning. So that is included in there. And remember, they have 2 sets of exercises per lesson. So they are able to look at that introduction as well as reinforcing and remediating those concepts. The questions provide 2 attempts. So if the student gets it right, they get the reasoning of why it's right. If they get it wrong, it will tell them why it's incorrect, and then allow them to go and access the study materials and remediate. So they are able to do that twice. Study materials are available at any time during the course. So when they are doing the projects, they can go back and they can review any of those study materials at any time. If they are getting ready for their certification exam and they just want to run through the study materials again, they are able to do that without even going through the lessons or levels. And then of course that course progress is available in the gradebook option at any time. So I know everybody is like, okay, Heather, those are great features. Thank you for showing us. Now, how do we get it? Where's this more information? I want to learn more. So Sunday is going to tell us about how to learn a little bit more and how to get this additional information. So welcome, Sunday.
Thank you, Heather. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. We're so happy that you're here and you can attend with us. We welcome you. I know some are joining from all kinds of different areas of the world, from the US and Canada and globally, so welcome. As you see, we're so excited to launch Jasperactive Digital Literacy GS6. Our team has spent a lot of time on it, and Heather, being our courseware manager, was able to give us a lot of the amazing features. So to answer the million-dollar question that everybody's thinking about, here are our contacts on your screen. You'll see we have an amazing team at CCI Learning. We have Ray Talili in Canada West. He's the regional account manager there. We have Jessica Casey in Canada East. So if you're calling from one of those locations, please get in contact with our team. They are experts that know exactly how to get you the solution that you need. They work with you to manage your, things that are for your school budget, and make sure that you are aware of the different funding. And also, if you are calling in from the US, please contact me. I'll be happy to help you to get your hands on some pricing and demo. We do offer free demos as well. So instructors, you can try yourself and go through Jasperactive Digital Literacy, learn about the features, explore it, and see how it will benefit your students. And also you can go through it not only through the instructor pathway, but also go through the learner pathway. So you can actually see what your students will experience on their pathway to learning about digital literacy and hopefully certification at the end. So we want to be able to get you this product and get your hands on it. Do contact us. And if you are calling in from the US, we also have great partnership with Certiport. I know I see some of our friends here from Certiport, so welcome. And get in touch with your Certiport sales manager, because we do have our products through their channels as well in the US. And globally, we work a lot with the resellers and distributors to make sure that it's available for you. We have bundles available that are for curriculum piece, together with practice tests and exam vouchers, so we can get you a bundle package for it. So do contact us. The other thing I wanted to mention too is, as you see, we are recording this right now, so we will be sending out a replay of the entire webinar. So in case you logged in a little bit late or you missed some of the important features and you're like, wow, it's an amazing product, I want to go and see it again. Or you're like, I know a few teachers that this will be great for their students, and I want to make sure that they get their hands on it. Please share it with everyone that you know. We are so excited to bring it out, like I said, and we want to make sure that everybody's aware of the benefits and features this product has. And with that being said, I thank you all for being here once again, and we look forward to hear from you.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and see you soon.